Welcome back to Mac Talks of Football, and Igor Tudor has been sacked by Juventus after 7 months in charge. He has been let go about 4 to 5 hours ago. The news has been broken by Fabrizio Romano. Then it was confirmed by Juventus themselves that they have sacked their head coach. And I mean, let's be very honest, it's not surprising. I was quite skeptical when they made him their permanent manager at the start of the season. I said at that time as well that I don't think he is capable enough of to do the job. I really did not like that appointment. For the part time at the end of the season when they had when they sacked Mota and they brought in Tudor, it sort of looked like an okay replacement, and it was interim. Let's be very honest, it was an interim replacement at that time as well. But they made it permanent at the start of the season, and when I made the prediction for the season as well, and at the start of the season as well, I said I am not really confident enough about this appointment. I just don't see him being successful. And you could see last season, even when he was the interim manager, Juventus really did not improve under him. It's not like after Mota they became world beaters or anything. They were just okay. I just felt like it was the new manager bounce that really helped him, and he took them to the top four. He took them to the Champions League places. It ended up being quite a respectable finish to the end of the season. But since the start of the season, you look at Juventus and you just don't see anything. You don't see any creativity in that team. You just don't see the will of the players. There's no vision for the club, and you just knew that it was not gonna work, and it showed. I mean, there's just 3 wins in the season, and almost October has ended. No wins in the Champions League. They are, I think, in the 25th or 26th in the Champions League, 8th in the Serie A, 40 days almost without a win. It was coming, it was quite coming. As I said, it is not shocking, it is not surprising. I'm very, very honest to be, I'm very surprised. If I'm being the one that I'm going to say, I'm surprised that it did not happen during the international break. I really thought that it might happen during the international break, but they gave him a couple of more weeks, and it did not change anything. It just keeps getting worse and worse, and now again Juventus are in a sort of a turmoil that it keeps on happening for them for the last 2-3 years. They brought in a Mota with a lot of expectation. They spent a good amount of money a previous summer, and then Mota, I don't know what happened to him. It ended up being a disastrous appointment. Thiago Motta. They bring in Tudor, as a sort of interim replacement. Then they make him a permanent manager, and they spent not that much as compared to last season, but they spent good amount of money. They had the course code again, and again it has happened again. It's not worked out, and he is gone as well. Now there are a lot of rumors, big names are being linked again for Juventus' a new head coach position. But I think it is going to be quite interesting what you will do. I mean, I just don't know what their ambitions are at the moment. I don't know what the management or the hierarchy are thinking, what the owners are thinking, because if you look at the two profiles of the manager, they are completely different, and the players that they brought in, again, they are completely different. So it is a disarray at Juventus at the moment, and the next appointment needs to be very, very important. They need to be very, very perfect with them. I mean, the best example I would say the Leverkusen thing. They really don't need to do that. The way they hired Erik ten Hag and then they sacked him like within a month, that was stupid of Leverkusen. Juventus cannot afford to make mistakes like that. Let's be very honest, they have already suffered, because of the financial stuff. They were demoted. They were not allowed to play European competition. They came back. They fought back to come back into the Champions League this season, and they need to make sure they don't, screw up yet again. They've spent a good amount of money, but they are not getting the result that they would have expected. And the managers, they are bringing in, it is not they have not worked out as well. So if I'm being very honest, if I'm a Juve fan, I would be really, really concerned at the moment, because as I say, they have spent a good amount of money and they have not gotten anything out of it. The Champions League performances, I mean, 3 games, 2 draws, and a defeat as well. I don't see them at the moment even getting into that qualifying round, if I'm being very honest with you, let alone the top 8. I don't think they are going to be in that top 8 for sure. Their only hope is to get that round of 16 qualifier bracket to somehow stay in the Champions League. In the league, it's so tough this year, and last year they were lucky, in my opinion, that a lot of the teams in the end faltered away and they somehow managed to go into the Champions League. This time around, it is going to be another. I mean, you look at Napoli, you look at Milan, you look at Roma, Inter, Atalanta. So many teams are there, and if I'm being very honest, a lot of them are playing better than them, and I just don't see how Juventus are going to be able to get back to the Champions League. Based on their league performances. That's why, as I said, the next appointment needs to be very accurate. It needs to hit the nail on the coffin with that one, because if it doesn't, if they take another gamble and they make another mistake, I think it is going to cost them even more than what has happened to them now. They are supposedly 6 points behind their Napoli at the moment, but for me the thing that really worries me are the performances of the players. Maybe they really did not like Tudor, because the way they have been playing for the last month or so, it has been absolute garbage. You look at Juventus, I mean, there has not been one Juve game, if I'm being very honest with you, which I have looked and I have watched and I would have said I was entertained by it, or I would want to watch Juve play again. It has been lethargic, it has been programmatic, it has been boring football for Juventus, and it has been going on for the last 2 seasons. It was the same under Motta. That's why I said nothing really changed under Tudor. They just were able to get a few results that helped them to get into the top 5 finish and get into the Champions League. This season, that basically was paper of the over cracks last season. This season they were not really able to do. The honeymoon period ended, and when the main thing, the main questions were starting to get asked, Tudor really did not have the answer to that. He lacks depth. He had no a plan B or plan C. It was just a straight football, boring football. And sometimes even if you are playing boring football and you get the results, fans are gonna get you time. In the world of football, I always say you can play good football, you can play great football, you can play boring football, whatever. The main thing is the results. If you are not gonna get results, if I'm a Juve fan, right, and I go to the stadium and I'm watching my team play and they are playing horrendous type of football, right, I'm going to be pissed off about that. Let's be very honest with you. But on top of that, even after playing horrendous type of football, I'm not getting a win, I'm not getting any points, I'm going to be super pissed. So that's what happened with Tudor. As I said it at the start of the season. I said it was a wrong appointment. I really was not a fan of this appointment, and I said he was going to be struggling. You can go and back and check that list. I said he could be one of the first managers to get the sack as well. I said it in my prediction video as well. So yeah, I was really I was really confident about this because it did not feel right with me, and it has proven to be true. I mean, to get the sack quite early on in October, I think I would say it was the right thing to do. If you are Juventus, if you look at the table, they're just still 6 points behind them. Maybe a new manager comes in and gets them playing good football, and maybe they can go back into those Champions League places. Maybe they can go back and maybe challenge for the title as well. They have a good enough squad. I'm not going to deny that. They have great amount of players. I think it's a very good squad that can really go ahead and challenge for the title. I think they need a really good manager. That's why I said they really need to get that next appointment on point, because if not, it could turn out to be another disastrous season for Juventus, and then they always have that looming pressure of that financial penalties and all of that, and they cannot really afford to be in another scandal a couple of years after the previous one. That is why now the main concentration is, I would say, Tudor is history. Whatever happened. Now they need to get it right. The next appointment needs to be right for the sake of the club, for the sake of the fans. It has to be right, and it needs to be something that gets the fans excited. And let's be very honest, nobody was really excited about Tudor's appointment. Everybody was really happy with Motta's appointment. I really thought that Motta was going to do something really special at Juventus, but it went sideways, and then Tudor again, it was a disaster. So the next one, it has to be really good. So yeah, that's it for me in this video. Let me know what you guys thought of the video. What do you guys thought of Tudor's time? Do you think he should have been sacked, or do you think Juventus made a mistake? Let me know in the comment section below. Like the video, share it as well, click on the notification bell, and of course subscribe to the channel. Until next time, bye bye.